Junet?
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask a supplementary question on the issue of the recruitment that is going on Russia, the fight between Russia and Ukraine. As the Prime Cabinet Secretary said, Mr. Speaker, they have made efforts to reach out to Russia and Ukraine on the issue. But what I wanted to ask is, it looks like there are criminal enterprises here within the country who are luring those people to go to Russia and fight in that war between Russia and Ukraine. Is there any effort the government has made to bust those criminal enterprises that are luring those men and women who want to go to that war? And my second question, Mr. Speaker, is supplementary, is on the issue of the policy of the foreign ministry. For example, on the Middle East, what's happening in the Middle East? This looks like we are in a state of confusion. Nobody knows what is the position of the government of Kenya on what is going on in the Middle East. So can the Prime Cabinet Secretary enlighten us on what could be the position of the government of Kenya on what is going on in the Middle East or part of the world?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask a supplementary question to the Cabinet Secretary of Foreign Affairs regarding what Junet has just alluded on the policy of the government. We have seen of recently claims by an airline carrying some Palestinians, stopping over Nairobi and later taking them to South Africa. Mr. Speaker, it's very saddening when we become a country of conduit of human trafficking, because it does not augur very well when we have already ratified treaties to protect human trafficking. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it is the issue between our citizens here and our neighbors, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Mr. Speaker, it's the high time we understand from the Cabinet Secretary, what are they doing to make sure that we continue enjoying the tranquility of the East African Treaty of Free Movement? Mr. Speaker, we can even table evidence of Kenyans who have been asked to produce documents to be in Tanzania or in Uganda. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, I think there is a serious laxity in this ministry when Kenyans are held in different territories over the country. In my constituency, Mr. Speaker, we have had cases of children or young people going to seek jobs in Middle East, and by bad luck or whatever happens, they pass there. To repatriate that body back to Kenya, it's taking close even to 6 months, Mr. Speaker. So as a ministry, what are you doing to protect Kenyans when they are abroad? That is a fundamental question the Cabinet Secretary should tell us as members of Parliament. And last but not least, you need to be very clear.
Order. You are joyriding on somebody else's question and you're asking 4 questions.
Mr. Speaker.
Actually, you are making a speech.
No. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the last question. I've just heard the Prime Cabinet Secretary talk about the two Kenyans who were held in Uganda, and he said that the government were fully engaged. And we saw those Kenyans saying that their release came when the former president of this country, Uhuru Kenyatta, intervened. It is a shame. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. If Kenya is engaged, even you can engage. Yes. Yes, Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you heard what the member said lastly, that the former president engaged the Ugandan government to release Kenyans from there. As who, Mr. Speaker? An ordinary citizen who was retired, Mr. Speaker, who was just doing his farming in Gatundu, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, this is the bad manner. We need to train them. This is the bad manners of united opposition in Kenya. They just give a speech in parliament instead of asking a question, Mr. Speaker.
Can you, let's have the very last Wanjala. There is another question from Naisula. Let the Prime Cabinet finish this.
I was on a point of
Who is that shouting? Shimba. After Wanjala, I'll give you a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Lake Victoria is a shared resource. And Mr. Speaker, all the waters in Lake Victoria are gotten from Kenya, because all the rivers that flows into Lake Victoria are from Kenya, except Kagera, the only one that is coming from Tanzania. Mr. Speaker...
Kagera doesn't come from Tanzania, it comes from Rwanda.
Yes, but it goes through Tanzania, then it comes to Uganda, DRC. Yeah. So, Mr. Speaker, and all fish is bred in Kenya, because Kenya is where we have the biggest swamps, where fish are bred. But, Mr. Speaker, when we go to the lake to fish, the Ugandans and Tanzanians harass Kenyans, extort Kenyans, beat Kenyans, jail Kenyans, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is silent. Mr. Speaker, what action is the minister going to take to negotiate with these countries? Because Lake Victoria is a shared resource for all of us, and we contribute a lot to Lake Victoria by providing fish and the waters. And Mr. Speaker, could also the minister activate communication department in his office, so that when there is a problem in Kenya, a Kenyan is caught in another country, like what happened to the Kenyans who are caught in Uganda, so that Kenyans are updated on what is happening, than them keeping quiet. We know they are busy, but they should have communication department to appraise Kenyans all the time, the way they were doing during COVID, Mr. Speaker.
Can you respond to those? And then we'll go to the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, let me take up the issue of the common market charter and the protocols. These protocols do exist and they are in force. Sometimes they may not be adhered to properly, but they are in force, and that is why we have regular conversations within the context of the East African community to also take stock and improve on how the East African community can run and how the protocols can be fully adhered to. However, Mr. Speaker, I think it's important for the Kenyans to distinguish between the common market protocols and constitutions of the various countries. These are 8 sovereign states who are members of the East African community. And they have constitutions. And the provisions of each nation's constitution applies to that country. So it is important that Kenyans and for everybody to appreciate that as we look at what is within the common market framework and the protocols, and we monitor their breaches and correct them, we would urge people to respect the sovereignty of the states. It's always very important as we go forward. The issue of extradition, if the government of Kenya is going to extradite, there's a process that would be followed. And I want to assure the Kenyans, that the House, that we have not had recently many or massive cases of extradition. If there was a record, we would be able to share that with you. So unless there's a very specific case that one would want to bring up, then we would talk about that. The most recent case that I can give you is that within the context of dealing with some of the illegal processes of recruiting and suspecting Kenyans to the Russian front, the government of Kenya did extradite somebody of Russian descent who was involved in what was illegal in our view. And not too long ago, even in Athi River, the authorities have busted a ring which had 21 Kenyans who had been locked up in a place, and they were being prepared to be taken to the front line. The authorities and the security agencies were able to intercept this potential danger of 21 Kenyans going to the front line. So we are working closely with all agencies to ensure that this menace is dealt with. Mr. Speaker, there is the issue that came up of what is our policy on the Middle East. I just want to say that this House did pass sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on foreign policy. And one of the things that came out very clearly in that sessional paper is that Kenya stands for a two-state solution on the matter of Palestine. And this House endorsed that position, and it was in that sessional paper. So from that perspective, that is the position of Kenya, and Parliament did endorse that position. So we have not negated that position whatsoever. The other thing that I want to highlight is something to do with the civil aviation, and I would recommend, Mr. Speaker, that a special question can be developed around the Kenya civil aviation issue about the plane that had passengers that were then moved to another country. The civil aviation of Kenya had proper record, proper sight of that aircraft, and I want to reassure that Kenya does not get involved in any human trafficking. I think there are misleading reports that need to be corrected, and a proper question focusing on that would enable the relevant ministry to respond specifically to it. Mr. Speaker, I want to also point out that the issue of how we exploit our maritime resources and the fishing issues, I can only urge that the government of Kenya has established a department and a ministry that focuses on this area. And from time to time, they will be seized, and I think we have a competent minister there in the name of Joho, who will focus on, in detail, on what they are doing to ensure that we have fair and unfettered exploitation of our maritime resources. Mr. Speaker, I think on the quick supplementary questions, I believe I have touched on all of them.
Shimba, Karole, I won't give you. Shimba will be the last one. I want to go to the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Shimba.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Cabinet Secretary replied to a question by Honorable Tandaza, and this is in regards to the taxes being levied by Tanzania. I believe, Mr. Speaker, we are all guided by the East African Community Common Charter.
Ask a question.
The question is, why is one country behaving differently from the other countries in the arrangement of the East African Community, Mr. Speaker?
To be fair to the PCS, he answered that question, Shimba.
Yeah, but of course, Mr. Speaker.
So ask him as a question for probably further clarification, because what you're asking, he answered.
But he didn't actually answer properly, because we are all...
Order, Shimba.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Tandaza who asked the question is not complaining. Why are you wailing louder than the bereaved?
But Mr. Speaker, we are guided by the East African Community rules and portfolios.
So ask him the question.
Why is one country allowed to go outside the agreed protocols, of course, of the other countries? The second one, Mr. Speaker, is about this help desk. How active is this help desk? Because right now I've received complaints about workers who are in Saudi Arabia, and they were demanding for their rights, and they have been incarcerated for almost 2 weeks now, Mr. Speaker. How active is this desk? Are the members of the public aware about this desk internally and even perhaps externally? And finally, if, Mr. Speaker, you may allow.
You are a joyrider. One question is
Yeah,
enough.
if you may allow, that's what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, finish up.
I was in Ethiopia recently, Mr. Speaker. I found in that airport almost all the airplanes belong to Ethiopian Airlines. Today in Kenya, Mombasa has only 4 flights in a day, Mr. Speaker. Is the Ministry of Transport really working? But of course, I'm asking about, because he's the Chief Cabinet Secretary, he's also aware about the predicament that we are suffering as users of the airspace. Mr. Speaker, I want you to indulge the Prime Cabinet Secretary at least to assist us in this predicament we have. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Karoli Wanjala, you're out of order.
Speaker,
Order.
PCS did not answer my question.
He did.
He avoided.
Karoli,
Honorable Wanjala, don't beat me up.
Karoli, you should help Wanjala to listen.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Could the Prime Cabinet Secretary inform the House what steps the government has taken to address the recent claims by Uganda that they want to take the Indian Ocean, overrun Kenya and take the Indian Ocean, given their history of military adventurism in South Sudan, in DRC, in Rwanda, in Somalia, and in Burundi, and other parts of the region? And could he also assure the members of parliament of their safety, since in about 2 weeks we will be in Uganda for the interparliamentary sports? Thank you.
Mudavadi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.